Hi Gemini, welcome to your September 2022 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And with that said, I always say, please don't forget to check out all three so that you get a clearer picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everyone, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and interactions with the world at large over the course of this month of September, if you can believe it, of 2022, you get the Page of Swords. Okay, so this month, I mean, for me, that I see this very much as an energy kind of similar to your own anyway. What I will say, because you've got Mars in your sign now, this is making you a lot more energetic, a lot more action orientated. It will also be sort of bringing up amping up the pressure a little bit, right? Because whenever Mars comes into our sign, it does make us more energetic, more dynamic, but it also makes us a bit more feisty. And a lot of you can be feisty mofos anyway. So, you know, it'll be easy. It'll be interesting to see how this kind of goes. Now, with that said, because it is the Page of Swords, what you really are, your actions and interactions with the world at large this month, you have to really show up for, all right? So there's going to be a lot of appointments, there's going to be a lot of meetings, it's going to be a very busy month of communication for you, which is something that you excel at anyway. However, because it is the Page of Swords, this is you initiating a lot of things this month. And that's great, right? It's always wonderful to initiate new projects, new ideas, and to send things out into the world. The challenge that you might face is, it looks like a lot of you are going to try to do too much in a short space of time. Now, that being said, remember, at the end of this year, Mars is also going to go retrograde, and it's going to be in your sign now for a good long stay, from now right the way through till March of 2023. That is a very long time. So this being said, just be mindful of how much you initiate this month, unless you were born with Mars retrograde, in which case you'll probably be all right. The challenge that you have, the Page of Swords, this is you launching a lot of things, getting a lot of things out there. You know, documents, emails, paperwork, new projects. It's like bam, bam, bam. You're firing all of this stuff out there, which is great. You need to make sure you're going to have the energy to finish those things or to show up for them. Otherwise, you're going to end up dropping a few plates or more than a few plates, and you're probably not going to be happy about it. All right. So what I'm saying is, keep doing what you're doing, but measure how much of it you're doing. For your communications and conversations, you've got the 9 of Pentacles. Of course, you guys do communication well and you do it in your sleep, but you've got this with the 9 of Pentacles. So for a lot of you, it looks like you're initiating very practical projects as well. Some of you are probably doing a lot of things on a material day-to-day basis that really are enhancing or improving the experience that you're having. Some of you look like you're setting up an office. Maybe you're creating a workspace. Maybe you're beautifying the workspace that you already have so that it's a lot more supportive to the work that you're trying to do. For those of you that are maybe employed by somebody else, or maybe even not working, this suggests that the time that you have at this moment, this is about you using it to your best advantage. For a lot of you, it looks like you're using your time for enjoyment, but there is a lot of hard work here, all right? So again, you just want to make sure you've got enough steam to see the whole thing through. That's kind of the best and biggest message that I could give you this month. For your love and relations, your heart and half, you've got the Justice card. So for some of you, for those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, especially if you're not already married, this is some of you setting a date. This is engagement. And the reason I say that is because of the combination of cards. I would probably want to see, this isn't a tarot lesson, Raph, shut up. But there are other cards that I would probably want to see, but this triple combination of these cards, there is an engagement here. For those of you that are single, the Justice card You could be connecting with somebody. You could be maybe finally making something official. And I feel for some of you, it is that. This is where you're announcing, you know, we're official. Maybe you're changing the Facebook status. Maybe you are finally talking about that person that you've been mysteriously seeing for the last few months. There's something here where you're actually making it a bit more publicly known, which is really nice. For those of you that are single and looking, honestly, this for me feels like you are, maybe like there's a practical reason that you're aligning with somebody or wanting to, but actually you look at it and you realize, you know what, there's more to this than that. I like it. I actually really like it. For your money and materials, you've got the Judgment card. Big changes coming up into the financial sector this month. Now, across the board, whether you're partnered or single, this month, you really do need to pay attention to the intersection between business and pleasure and money and personal relationships. The reason I say this is because the Judgment card is calling you to do something. And because you've got it next to the Justice card, maybe this is that you and your partner are setting up a joint account. That's, you know, on the lighter end. Maybe some of you are maybe sitting down and working out with the significant other or potential other. This is going to be my half of the bills. This is going to be your half of the bills. There's something here where you're having to get really clear on your finances, where they meet somebody else's, what your commitments are versus what theirs are. However, the Judgment card is a very good card for money because it's got that Plutonian energy, and Pluto is not adverse to giving wealth. Trust me for that. I don't think this is a bad month for money at all. It's just that you're having to get really proactive about it. For your first week of the month, you've got the Hermit card. So I'm not saying you have to go back to the drawing board. What I'm saying is you might need to stagger whatever it is that you're doing. The Hermit card is about withdrawal, right? And then you've got the Page of Swords, which is about initiating something. I actually feel that this is you putting the brakes on something this month, as opposed to just kind of, like I said, it looks like a lot of you are putting out some really great stuff. I'm just not sure that you thought maybe either about the timeline of it. There's something here that's not quite marrying up. For the second week of the month, you've got the Tower card with the Nine of Pentacles. I wouldn't be surprised if this second week of the month we hear of an earthquake. You got the Nine of Pentacles as a very earthy card with the Tower card. That is literally like earthquake stuff. I think on the wider world stage in the news, we're probably going to see something like that. And I've got to be honest, it may be a big one. Now, on a more personal note or endeavor, this is potentially, not definitely, but potentially someone wanting to, when someone comes along and pisses on our fireworks, it could be that maybe you have either a heavy word, like things look to be going really great for you, and then there's a hiccup that comes in, and the hiccup is another person, and I do feel like it's a person. For your third week of the month, you've got the Hanged Man with the Justice card. So if you are moving ahead, getting engaged, announcing partnership to the world, etc., just take it slow, take it easy. This is just because it's the Justice card and the Hanged Man. So whatever partnerships, contracts, connections, whatever you're doing officially, the message actually is possibly to wait. And then you've got this with the Tower card, which suggests that somebody else's stuff encroaches on you or yours over this course of the next 2 weeks. And then finally, for your fourth week of the month, you have the Chariot card. So your finances look great. It's the interpersonal stuff that could become a little bit of an issue this month. If you are sending out documents, paperwork, if you're sending out products, etc., items to clients or customers, that's something that you want to watch out for, especially if you're sending stuff that is expensive, because it looks like some of you might end up, it's like you're either having to send another one, and it might be able to be avoided. Not definite, but it's possible. But your resources, your finances look good. For a lot of you, I see you either going back home, going to visit the parents, going to visit a place that you have either lived or that you are from, your heritage. Basically, you're going to visit the place that you're from. And if you already live in that place, it's likely that you're reconnecting with someone from your past that could have a very lucrative offer for you, but don't let it be the thing that breaks the camel's back. For your new moon message, so the new moon in the sign of Libra is taking place on the 25th of September. That for you is going to be happening in your 5th house of pleasure, romance, fun, excitement, joy. It's also a very speculative sort of energy. It can be a lucky house, but it is, remember, it's a new moon, so it's a dark moon. So you don't want to do anything too risky, but it is a really great time to set intentions around all the things that I've mentioned. For those of you that have children, this middle portion of the month is likely where you're going to need to keep an eye on them. I don't see anything beyond a slip, trip and a fall. I do, however, for those of you that have children, this could be that, you know, maybe they sneak out, maybe they go to that party that you told them that they couldn't go to. There's something here where secrecy may end up being an issue, or something that you find out about one of them and you're kind of like, okay, you know what? So just something to be aware of. But for the new moon, you got the gate 39 and provocation. This new moon, I wouldn't be surprised if someone gives you a challenge or gives you a piece of information that gets you fired up. And sometimes that's what we need in order to push forward, right? We need that. I don't know if you've ever seen the film I, Tonya. Really interesting inside, dramatized inside look at Tonya Harding's life, which was already very chaotic before, you know, she went to the Olympics and stuff. And you don't really see any of that, right? You just see the glossy sort of them on the ice version. But to see what her life was, you can, you know, I don't condone anything that she may or may not have done, but it was just a very interesting look behind the scenes. One thing that her mother did a lot for her, which, you know, is quite toxic when you break it down. She actually paid someone to go to the podium or the stadium, to the ice rink, and say, you're not going to be able to do it. And because of the type of character she was and the life that she'd had, that made her angry enough to say, listen, I'm going to make it happen. She'd just go out and absolutely smash it. Some people get fired up by that energy, and I wonder if this new moon is going to piss you off enough to say, right, you know what, this is what I'm going to make happen. Your full moon in the sign of Pisces on the 10th, this is happening for you in the 10th house of career, social status, public standing, how the world sees you. And this literally could mean that you're, you know, one way of your status changing is that you go from single to being partnered, and vice versa. Maybe you become a homeowner, maybe you become a business owner. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's something about the way that you present to the world that is changing or coming to a head because it's a full moon, a revelation of some sort. You got the gate 63 and doubt. This card for me is always about not doubting yourself and feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Isn't it interesting? Look, you've got the 63 and then you've got the 39. 9 is basically just 6 on the upside down. So I just find that really, really intriguing. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. This is not a time to doubt yourself, but it is a time to get things in order. All right, with that said, take care and I'll see you soon.